So, in the case of the ENTP, what would this functional loop look like? Will be an extroverted one, because this is her, even if not in the traditional sense, social. This is her preferred mode, being where the action is, having keeping check on things, knowing what's going on, keeping yourself updated in some way, and also have this, what she at least believes to be, flow. Because also in her case, there is this big fat slug from the negative zone, introverted thinking, which actually will set some limits from her perspective. The dominant function in this case, in my case, is intuition. Yeah, you would never have imagined, right? Maybe a bit disappointed now. And her most natural, comfortable mode is running completely wild and brainstorming and suggesting, proposing, imagining, seeing possibilities and all that stuff, and she's coupled with extroverted feeling, and compared to the INTP, she has somewhat higher status. She's the third in this stack, and connecting with this function, you have this imagination and this wild passion, and it's just that this intuition creature, she needs actually to climb down the ladder once in a while, pay visit to this old telepathic horror from another dimension, and actually get some structure, be educated, fed with some, be grounded in some actual logic, something that, because intuition is this brilliancy perhaps, but brilliancy without any actual form. It will never go beyond that stage. It's just pure energy, and as is the case with this extroverted feeling, it's a flow of emotional energy, positive or negative, but really without any understanding for the world around her was the point, and being caring or empathetic, or have or raging explosions, if they serve no purpose. If they a purpose they may have, they are by definition a purpose, but without understanding for where do I aim all this. So intuition needs to have this contact with the lower regions and hang there for some time in the ceiling, like Odin above the head of Mimer, and absorbing all the wisdom of the world. This ENTP will never store any big amounts of wisdom, but at least some logical structure for making her brainstorming a bit more solid and productive. And this emotional wildlife, she has no imagination of her own, but being directly connected to this intuition, which is a never-ending volcano of imagination. She grows to outworldly proportions. She becomes the wolf of Fenrir, and her and this intuition, they dance all night, and it's like a raging tornado drawing everything in its way into this lethal spiral. And being in this mode, the ENTP will feel that she has control, she's productive, and this is an outburst of energy, and things are happening. I have all these things that I should be doing, and finally I'm dealing with things. I imagine that this might actually be the very thing getting her into this loop. Things just pushing her down more and more. Everything. It's not inner stress, it's external stress. Too much of everything, and not managing to keep up with things. And then having this, well, I need to go down to the basement. Sorry, see you later. Yeah, you're climbing down as always. And we all know what you will be doing down there, don't we? Your man cave. Oh, it's not a man cave, it's a bat cave, she tries to explain. But people, as far as I know, she's just lazy. Can't you see you have all these things you should be handling instead of doing these nasty things, getting your palms hairy. whatever. So this is an emotional thing that will arouse emotional activity and become motivation to this imagination. Get going and keep going, cling to this, because if I sit down now, I will most probably die. Not to mention what would happen if I would lie down. Then I would die twice, or I would super die, or whatever. And like I mentioned, the introverted loop, logic without a reason. This becomes reason without logic, without substance. It's just pure energy outburst, and just destructive and exhausting, non-productive. In the beginning, perhaps things may actually come out of this, but the more she loses this connection to the lower regions, the less structure, the less logic. Intuition, her specific intuition, will be rather logical after all, because it's been nurtured or educated by this logical machinery. So she does have some logical behaviors, but they will fade, and they won't be updated. And also, this old fat monster will have no new impulse, no enlightenment. So she will probably get into some kind of underworld loop, her too, becoming self sufficient in some way, and this will keep going. And this function stack, in my case, second function is supposed to be this cold logic, even if not being in a traditional sense clever, which I actually can say I am. Very much rely upon this logical grounding. But in reality, this emotional flow is quite a bit stronger than this logical ruminating pulse. According to functions tests and stuff, I come out as emotional, but it doesn't really fit into the structure in general. I might return to this. Nevertheless, I'm supposed to be a thinking type, and the whole creation very much dependent on having this, like I said, logical grounding to be productive. But emotions actually being stronger than logic means that it still feels very natural to remain in this extroverted mode of emotion and imagination. But in the long run, completely exhausting, and you will burn out and collapse. And this emotional wildlife, like I call her, will be completely unchained and let loose in the world, like not only Wolf of Fenrir, but direwolf, werewolf. Why not a werewolf? Yeah. But as soon as this imagination, this intuition gets some logical grounding, some channel for this creative outbursts, she can't really this emotional part can't really get this overload of imagination, and she will start to shrink down to some more handleable format, proportions, size, and really not be so destructive either to the surroundings or to her own family, or what you should call them. So this is supposed to be the ENTP loop. You follow me all the way? No, you didn't. I don't care. You go just. They know what I mean.